Hello everyone, welcome to the DMU live stream where we'll be talking a little bit more about clinical pharmacy and independent prescribing here at DMU. We'll be answering any questions that you have, so please do leave them in the comments section. It's that way. And we'll pick them up within this discussion. And also if there's anything else that you'd like to know more about in terms of studying here as a DMU, as a postgraduate student at DMU, then again, please do drop them in the comments section. So we're going to start by introducing ourselves. My name's Jyoti and I work in the faculty marketing team for the Faculty of Health and Life Sciences, and I will just bring on our guests. So firstly, we have Sejal.
Hi, welcome everybody. I am the programme leader for the MSc in Clinical Pharmacy.
Brilliant. Zeenat, do you want to do a quick intro?
Hi everyone, I'm Zeenat. I'm the course leader for the independent prescribing module on the clinical pharmacy programme.
Brilliant. We're also joined by Kunjo, who's an ex-student. And we also have another ex-student who will be joining us just to give their perspective, but I'll let you introduce yourself, Kunjo.
Hi, my name's Kunjal and I just finished the diploma in May this year. So recently finished the diploma at DMU.
Brilliant. Glad you could join us. So firstly, we'll begin with a little bit about the course. So Sejal, are you okay just to give us a quick overview of clinical pharmacy, what that entails, and then we'll bring Zeenat into it in terms of the independent prescribing module?
Yes, of course. So thank you, Jyoti, and thank you everybody for watching. So the clinical pharmacy programme that we have here at DMU University is quite unique in that we have it open to anybody who's working a patient-facing role in any sector. So we're not sector specific. We're not trying to put people in pigeonholes and say, well, if you're a community pharmacist, you can't come on this programme, or only if you're working in hospital, you can come on this programme. We believe that all of you working patient-facing roles are actually working collectively to improve patient outcomes. So why should you not be learning together and using the same materials, same resources, because you've all done a same pharmacy undergraduate degree. You've all been through the GPHC registration process. And so we have the same programme for everybody on the team, and you are socialized and mixed in with pharmacists working from different sectors and put into learning sets throughout your 2 years or 3 years that you're here at DMU University. One of the things that we're really passionate about at DMU is putting the patients at the heart of everything we do. So whilst you're on the programme, you will develop your clinical skills, but you'll also at the same time develop your professional skills, because we believe the two go hand in hand. It's definitely very important to make sure that you are making clinical decisions for your patients based on evidence, but you've also got to learn to communicate and work effectively within a team with a wide range of different healthcare professionals as well. And you need to put your patient at the heart of everything you do. At the same time, we also really pride ourselves in the support we give our students. We believe we have an equal partnership with our students, and whilst it's a distance learning course, our students are learning at a distance, but they're not learning alone. Each member of our team actually go to great lengths to support our students through a wide variety of ways. So we have ring-fenced time every week where the students can pick up a phone, drop in on a Teams chat, or send us an email and guarantee to get a response from a module team member, to actually arranging virtual meetings with the students and supporting them in lots of different ways. One of the other things that we do on the programme is actually allow the students to tailor their educational journey to meet whatever career progression aspirations they have. So maybe they're working in a field where they would like to develop in a certain format. In their second year, they're able to choose from a whole host of different modules and really individually tailor their diploma to meet those needs. We also allow students to actually pick independent prescribing as part of their second year choice, and so this allows them to get a postgraduate diploma with independent prescribing. So within 2 years they could actually, as long as they meet all the entry requirements for the independent prescribing course leave with a diploma and independent prescribing. We've been doing this for a number of years, so actually the team are really well experienced in running the program. We've got over 500 students on the program at this moment in time, and that's a testament to the work that the team put in. Most of our students come to us through word of mouth, so that's how we advertise our program, and our students are our best adverts. We're very proud of our students, and you'll see that we'll have two of our students on here today, and they will talk about their experiences and their open and honest feedback about how they found the program and what impact it's had on them. Zia, I'm going to stop talking for a while, and I'm going to let you come in to talk to our audience a little bit about our independent prescribing module, because again, that's a really popular module, and students can do it as part of the diploma, or they can do it as a standalone module. Over to you, Zina.
Lovely. Thanks, Sejal. So as Sejal mentioned, the independent prescribing module can either sit as one of the second year diploma options, or it can be done as a standalone module. Now, for students who are on the diploma, there is still a separate application process to join the independent prescribing course, just because there are a few requirements that just need to be met in order to be eligible to study on that module. And some of those are things like having at least 2 years post-qualification experience, being able to secure a mentor. So something that's quite unique is DMU is one of the few universities at the moment that's accredited to deliver a DPP model, which is a designated prescribing practitioner model. And that means you don't need necessarily a medic to be your mentor, but you can have another non-medical prescriber mentoring you through the program, provided that they meet the relevant requirements of that role. And something that we ask you to do is, similarly to the rest of the program, it's completely multi-sector. So we have an array of pharmacists working in primary care, secondary care, CCG, community pharmacy, GP practice, prison. So, it is very much an experience of learning from us, but also from each other. And you'll find that applicants on the course pick quite unique scopes of practice to do the prescribing in, and it's just a great opportunity to get this wide array of experience, and a really, really informative learning experience. Something that I love and I find amazing about our course specifically is the fact that, yes, while you may start off specializing in a particular scope, we then give you the tools so that you can expand your scope into other areas. So while you may start off with something that's defined like hypertension, we're very much about giving you the tools to be able to then progress and expand your competency in a multitude of other disease areas and things like that. So like Sejal has already mentioned, the same ethos that applies on the wider program is something that we are really passionate about. So we have a very collegiate approach on the course. So, it's not necessarily that we're there as, people to teach at you, but rather guide you through your learning journey. And, it's a really well supported program, not just on independent prescribing, but across the entire sort of clinical pharmacy program. And it's the same ethos is about making sure that the patient is at the center of the care, and our first priority, and balancing multiple different agendas, so things like evidence-based medicine, patient preferences, influences from other practitioners and external sources, are something that we try and make sure that we go through with you, so that when you are out in the real world prescribing away, you've got the tools to be able to navigate through that journey. So I love the course. I've done the course. I thought it was amazing. I'm a bit biased about it now, but genuinely it's a very enjoyable course and a lovely team.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, both. I've just got a quick question, actually. You mentioned it's a distance learning course. Are there any elements that you'd perhaps have to come into campus for, like a day or something like that?
Yeah, a really good question, Jyoti. We have, in the first year, we have 3 days where the students come onto campus, and the really, really well evaluated days. So students actually get a lot out of those days because they come in and it's a chance for them to actually meet other people face to face. Obviously, during the pandemic, we haven't had them come onto the campus, but we've run those days virtually. So we do them during live time, and what the students do is they come up first on the induction day, and then we bring them in sort of 3 to 4 weeks later for a study day. And actually that works really well because it allows us to pull them in within the first month of them starting on the program and check in with them, and make sure that they're okay, they know what they're doing, they feel supported. And what we find is once we've done that check-in and students really know what they're doing and they're engaged, actually it sets them up for the rest of the program. They then come for another study day sort of midway through the first year. And then in the second year, as I mentioned, they've got a number of different modules to choose from. And depending on which module they pick, there may be a study day or there may not be. If they do independent prescribing, that has 8 study days that they need to come on campus for. But again, we sort of make that very clear to students right from day one. So they have a timetable for the full 12 months ahead. They know exactly when their assessments are, when they've got to come in, when they've got to hand in stuff. So nothing is sprung upon them.
And just, you mentioned assessments. What kind of things would that entail?
Okay, so the assessments are very based on real life applications. So what we really believe in is not just knowledge acquisition. It's not about knowledge acquisition, it's about application of knowledge. So how do you apply what you're learning to real patients? And so all the assessments are built around you applying what you're learning to real patients that you see in your real day jobs. And that's how you submit your work, and the tutors support you throughout that. You're allowed to submit formative work, you get feedback on that, and all the assessments are geared towards you building a portfolio of evidence of the great stuff that you do. And actually it allows you to have those conversations with your employers to say, look, this is the stuff that I do, this is the difference I've made to patients in my care.
Brilliant, thank you for that. And I know obviously COVID has interrupted our whole entire world, but obviously you know, we mentioned study days on campus at the moment. Obviously we can't do those, so how are we getting around that for our course areas here?
Okay, well, I have to really commend our team, because our team absolutely mobilised moving our study days from face-to-face to virtual study days. We've used a number of different platforms through our virtual learning platform and Teams to actually put together an interactive range of activities to still keep the students engaged. And what we've done, each module leader's done, is put a number of different sessions on, reached out to students on a regular basis through the pandemic. And on the back of that, we've had some really positive feedback from students where they felt that whilst they're working on the front line at such challenging times, they felt really supported and really looked after by the module team. And that has been a massive team effort. And I think the reason for that is everybody that's on the team have chosen to do this because it's their vocation, it's what they believe in, it's them giving something back to the profession, and I think that's seen in the level of support that we give our students.
Oh, that's brilliant.
You don't have to take my word for it. We have a couple of our students with us. So we've got Neera and we've got Kunjal. Neera is a current student on the programme. Welcome, Neera. And Kunjal is a recent ex-student. So I'll start with you, Neera. How are you finding the programme? What, and please be honest, what's been really challenging for you as a student sort of coming back to study, and also what's been positive for you?
It has been a very enjoyable experience. It's been a very tough experience as well. I've come from an era where we weren't using that much technology when I was at university. So to come back and to start using all of this technology, RefWorks, and having everything online was a bit of a challenge. But we did have 2 inductions. Well, the full induction on the first day, but then we had one a month later as well, which helped in adjusting to the new platform, how to use Blackboard, how to use communications, to speak with the lecturers or people on the course. We were encouraged to set up our own networks with our peers. So that has been a great support over the past 2 years, because I'm talking to other members of the course, discussing what we're doing, clarifying certain issues, where everybody is at the point. It's just been really reassuring. The lecturers have been very supportive. They answer questions very quickly, whether it's via email or via Blackboard. So I haven't hesitated in contacting lecturers, and I've even contacted some lecturers several times over, especially at the beginning of the course, just to have an understanding of what exactly is expected of us, because the caliber of work that we were providing was at a different standard to what I'm used to. So how much depth we had to go into and so forth. And at the time, I didn't really understand why we had to do certain things. But now I'm actually working in general practice. When I go out to my community pharmacy shifts, I notice a massive difference that all the tools I picked up from working, picked up from the course and utilized it for the coursework, has actually made a difference with how I'm communicating at work, and how that's had a knock-on effect with having a positive effect on the patients, with other healthcare professionals, and just generally with the workflow, which I didn't really understand at the beginning, but it makes sense when you start putting it into practice.
Thank you. That's great. Kunjal, can we come to you? So thank you for coming and joining us today.
Thank you, Sejal, for inviting me.
Seems like we might have lost Sejal there for a second. So I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions. Could you tell us a little bit about your student experience and how you found the course, and I guess just how it's enabled you to kind of further your career and progress to the route that you eventually want to kind of go down?
Yeah, sure. So I joined 2 years ago. I started the diploma in 2018, and I was really, really unsure whether this was going to be for me. Like Neera mentioned, when I was back at university, we didn't have any of the IT infrastructure in place, so I wasn't used to using a computer. I was really nervous about coming back, and I remember coming to one of the open days, and I met Tim Harrison on the course, and he really reassured me and gave me the confidence. And he basically said, come, give it a go, try a module, and see if it's for you, because, you know, you've got nothing to lose. And I really liked, you know, that encouragement. And Tim told me his own journey of how, you know, he'd gone back to do his diploma after being in practice for so long. And I think just hearing people's real life experiences gave me the confidence to give it a go. And you know, 2 years on now, I got my diploma this June, and it's just given me a whole load of confidence. And there was also, like Neera mentioned, you know, you put into practice what you learn. Every day you're at work, you can make those positive interventions with your patients. It's led me to have better relationships with my GPs, nurses, and the pharmacist prescriber that works at the surgery next to me. It's just really, I think, given me the chance to network, meet lots of different pharmacists, because when you're in community, you can sometimes feel quite isolated and alone. So doing the diploma has just given me a whole network of pharmacy colleagues from different sectors that I can now tap into for information and advice. And we've got Sejal back.
Yes, so I'll let her continue.
Fantastic. Thank you both. What would you say to anybody who's thinking about doing a postgraduate diploma? Would you say that's something that, yes, you would strongly recommend, or actually, no, there's other ways around it?
Kunjal, do you want to go first?
Go on then, Neera. So for me, definitely, without hesitation, I think I just mentioned when we lost you, Sejal, that When I came to see Tim Harrison on the open day, Tim said, what have you got to lose? Give it a go, do a module. And I started off doing that first module and then just carried on. And, 2 years later, I finished the diploma. The way pharmacy's going, I think there's so many new and exciting career opportunities that we need to make sure our clinical skills and knowledge is up to date. And I'd been in practice 20 years without updating my skills. So the last 2 years, I have learned so much more and been able to put that into practice. And I feel like it's brought me up to speed with the profession. And without it, I definitely wouldn't be where I am now.
Great, thank you. And Neera, what are your reflections?
Just to touch upon what Kunjal said, the resources that we accessed, I mean, there's a wealth of resources out there, and I think it really opened up my eyes about what we can have or what we can use to help us do consultations and get the answers rather than just referring to the BNF. So having access to that, having the knowledge of that has really helped. I mean, I speak to some of my GP colleagues, they have no idea with some of the basic queries, but because I've been shown all of that on the course, I would definitely recommend anybody that is looking towards career progression or just a challenge, something new for them. Don't be scared. Everybody will be in the same boat as you, so it's not like you're going to be the only one that is confused or scared about what the changes are. There's a lot of support out there. I mean, I used lecturers, I used the library resources that are available online to help with the academic writing, so they are very supportive. You can talk to your peers. There's so much out there, so I would definitely recommend you jumping onto the bandwagon. And you never know, some of the things that you might be considering to do on the course, you might take a different route. So I actually wanted to do research methods because I wanted to go into academia full time, but actually as I was going through the course, I started enjoying more of the clinical side and felt now is not the time for me to go towards academia. Maybe I need to start investing more into my IP degree that I've got and start going into GP practice, and that's what I've done, and I'm actually enjoying it, surprisingly enough. I didn't think I would enjoy it that much, but I am enjoying it because I'm using the knowledge that I picked up from day one as pharmacists. So yes, try it out. It might change your mind about your career path, and it's nothing to be scared of. Everybody's in the same boat, and you've got a very supportive team at DMU.
Thank you both. I think one of the questions I always get asked at open days and recruitment days is, what will the diploma do? Will it get me a new job? And what I always say to prospective students is, it will open doors for you, but you have to walk yourself through those open doors. We can't push you through those doors. So you'll have all the skills and the tools to actually be able to walk through that door really confidently and hold your head up high. And it will open that door for you, but you've got to carry yourself through. And I think the feedback we've had from yourselves and the other students has been that, yes, it changes the way you work, it changes the way you think, and it does impact your career. And it's up to you. It's an investment into your future. And definitely, I would strongly recommend you do it. The team that we have at DMU have all been doing some sort of postgraduate education at some point in their life. Some of us are still doing it. So I know a number of colleagues on the team are doing their PhDs or are involved in research. So we all understand the challenges that you face in terms of juggling life and work and studying. And I think that's made a massive difference in the support that we give on the programme and the connections we have with the different experts who actually we use throughout the programme to try make sure that the clinical stuff that you do is really current and very up to date. So thank you both for coming and sharing your experiences with us. Are there any questions that you would like to ask me, Jyoti, if you feel I've not covered everything well?
No, I think you've covered off most points. I guess just one thing, if you could, I know we've briefly touched on it when we did the course introduction, was if you wanted to specialize in a specific area, what are those kind of areas? And could you just explore some of those a little bit more?
Absolutely. So there's a whole host of different areas that you can choose. So in your second year, you can choose if you want to move and work in hospitals. So if you want to work in secondary care, you can pick an optional module that introduces you into pharmacy world that is quite unique to secondary care. So things like nil by mouth, wounds, and that side of things. If you want to work in primary care, it introduces you to the systems and the processes that we have in primary care, and it sort of enables you to integrate into working in a general practice or a CCG a lot more easily. Those of you who have a specialist interest in antimicrobial stewardship, we have a module on that. We have a module on leadership skills and change management, because as you go through the diploma, you are becoming leaders in your own right. And actually, the leadership module helps you recognize what leadership attributes do you have, what do you admire, and what sort of qualities do you want to have to become an authentic leader. We've got modules that focus on de-prescribing. So if you're working in an area where you want to really focus on de-prescribing, so if you're working in a care home, for example, you work in general practice and you want to look at patients through that lens, that module really helps. And also de-prescribing in mental health. So again, if you're working in an area, would like to work in an area where you want to specialize in dealing with patients with mental health, then you've got a whole host of different options to pick and choose and really tailor your postgraduate educational journey to suit your career aspirations, really.
Brilliant, that's great. That just shows the breadth of specialties that you can kind of take your career down to. That's great. Thank you for that, Sejal. Just some of the questions that we've had come in earlier. So I think we might have touched upon some of these, but I'll let you summarise this one. Why should I do further education after registration as a pharmacist? So I think we've heard the students' perspectives and kind of where it's elevated their careers, but I guess, did you just want to do a quick summary?
Yeah. So what I would say is that pharmacy is facing a lot of change at the moment. There are so many new opportunities available for pharmacists out there, and just having an undergraduate degree is just not enough. If you want to do a different role, if you want a pick of any of the exciting roles that are coming your way, you're going to have to do some postgraduate education to demonstrate that you are working at that higher level of thinking. You are able to take patients' care to that next level and really build that portfolio of evidence that you are working to that level. So it's imperative that you do that. We're going to, over the next 5-6 years, see the initial education training standards for pharmacists change. And what you don't want to do is widen that gap between where you are at the moment and what those new graduates are going to be coming out of. So really, if you want to make sure that you are marketable, you are available to pick up those roles, those new exciting roles, I would suggest that definitely engage with postgraduate education.
Brilliant, thank you for that. I guess just something that viewers are probably thinking about in terms of course expenditure. So I guess we'll just cover that one up in this question that's come through. So what's the cost of the course? Now I know obviously we have it on the website.
Yeah. So in each year you need to do 60 credits worth of module, and 15 credits are worth £555. So roughly £2,220 per year. But if you are a returning DMU student, so if you're an alumni, you may be eligible for some discounts. And also there are lots of different options you can use to pay the fee, so you don't have to pay the full amount straight away. You can set up monthly, quarterly payments. And what you've got to think is, even if you do end up having to pay the £2,220 a year, that is £2,220 that you're investing in your own future. I think Neera and Kunja will say that you'll reap the rewards over and above what you invest into that. In terms of time commitments, what we say that each student is different, and different people will take different lengths of time to study a particular topic. But as a rule of thumb, I would say sort of ring fencing about 7 to 10 to 15 hours a week to make sure you can give the same focus to the studies as what we'd expect you to do. And to really get the most out of the course is to have those, make those adjustments in your life to be able to concentrate and get the best out of the course.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Sergio. Just another one that we've got here, just on modules. So I guess we mentioned there's obviously different types of modules, but just in terms of length, could you just talk us through some of those?
So in your first year, you do 3 modules over 3 months each. So you do 3 modules that sort of finish within 3 months. So you do module 1 over 3 months, module 2 over the next 3, and module 3 over the last 3 months. And in between, we build in breaks. So you can have time off over Christmas, you have time over Easter, you have the summer off, because, you know, we're living in the real world and you do need to down tool and take a break. And then you also do 1 module that spans across your whole first year. So you're doing 4 modules. So you're doing 1 across the whole year and then 1 over every 3 months. In your second year, it all depends on what modules you pick and choose, but generally they tend to be over 3 months. Independent prescribing is over 6 months. But by the time you do independent prescribing in your second year, you're used to working at that postgraduate level. You're used to working at that pace. So the jump isn't so high for you there. One of the things that you do pick up on the program is time management. You very quickly learn to actually sort of prioritize your learning. You prioritize different activities in your life. You maybe stop watching certain Netflix series, you stop watching certain TVs, and you perhaps manage family and friends' expectations. But you soon get a hang off it, and actually it translates into your work practice as well, because you do suddenly become a lot more time efficient.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to give up my Netflix shows just yet.
Binge watch them on holidays.
One last question that we've got, and I guess I'll ask this to yourself. What's the difference about this diploma compared to those offered by other universities?
I think the difference with this diploma and the others is that we don't put pharmacists in pigeonholes. We allow pharmacists from any sector, as long as they're in a patient-facing role, to be on the programme, and we socialise them into working with each other. So you develop really strong peer support and peer networks, and you understand the patient journey across the sectors. We give you that exposure to develop those networks. The team here at DMU are really committed at what they do, and the level of student support we provide, I think, is a really strong USP for us. It's something that we feel really strongly about, and which is why we do that. And we treat our students as an equal partner. It's not a paternalistic relationship, it's an equal partnership, and I think that itself translates into the student success that we have seen on the programme in terms of the growth that we've seen year on year.
Brilliant. Thank you for that, Sergio. That's really useful to know, and I guess if anyone's thinking about doing the course, it's another string to our bow in terms of why you should be doing that here as opposed to anywhere else. So I am going to probably wrap up the session now, talking about time management. We are at time. So I'd just like to say thank you, everybody, for watching, and to our current ex-students and academics for taking part in this session today. If you do have any questions that probably haven't been covered off, notice we've been quite quiet in the comments section. So if there's anything that you've thought of post this stream and you're like, oh, I just wanted to know a little bit more about that, please do drop us an email. The email address is just below, so it's hlsmarketing@dmu.ac.uk, and I think we are almost done. So again, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll leave you to enjoy your evening. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.